rAVE Radio. With rants and raves, you'll be okay. And today is your lucky day. It is rants and raves with Gary.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Rants and Raves. I'm Steph Beckett, and this is our pre-InfoComm 2025 series where we've been highlighting a few of the brands you should check out at the show and also some of the sessions you should check out at the show. And joining me for this episode is Adriana Rojas, who is going to be hosting a few of the really interesting sessions here. She is from HOK. Adriana, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Steph. Nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So if you would like to, I'd love to hear a little bit about your background and how you got to where you are today at HOK.
Well, I'm an architect and an interior designer, and I've always had a passion, to create spaces that not only just function, but they really connect people and empower people. And, it's been a great journey at HOK because I've had that opportunity as director of interiors to lead a team and to really be engaged throughout the whole process. We're really based a lot on our research and what we put behind our designs is all based on our research. So a lot of what we do is also try to, have these conversations around architecture and technology. And how do we really create better collaboration, not just for some, but for everyone in the industry?
That's awesome. And I love that you're incorporating that into some of the sessions that you're going to be a part of at the show. The first one of those is engaging user experiences in open meeting spaces. So I'd love for you to expand upon that a little bit and tell me who you would recommend to attend this. Is this for anyone who wants to learn a little bit more about enhancing this? Is this for new people in the industry? Yeah, I'd love to learn a little bit more about that.
That's a great question. This, I see it as a topic that everyone should go and listen. We have a great panel that's going to be on the session, and it's very panel. But today's workplace, it's really about that, hybrid and digital, and it's just become really complex. And sometimes, these environments we build for collaboration are based on just outdated templates and outdated settings that we keep putting in place, instead of really understanding that not one size fits all. And there's, too little flexibility to really think through these spaces that are going to, engage all types of users. So this session, we really want to dig deep into what does this mean and how do we make these collaborations great experiences for everyone? And what are we doing for that, right? Is it the technology? Is it the architecture? Is it both? Which we always think yes. But, as architects also, we have really an opportunity, but it's also a responsibility to think about these spaces, not just on performance, but how are we really being inclusive? We have a lot of research on neurodiversity that we've done. We just launched a book about 3 months ago. And it's really about creating great environments that give everyone an opportunity to participate and give you also the choice and just show up and engage and be part of the space. So we're going to be hearing a lot about this on this session. I would highly recommend it.
That's awesome. And that one is on June 12th at 8:30 a.m. Another one that's on June 12th at 10 a.m. This one is Workplace IoT, Data Collection, and Workplace Metrics. I'm interested to hear a little bit more about this because the AV industry is suddenly it seems like we're suddenly realizing wait, building management is kind of our thing too.
Yeah. Well, and for us, really, it's not just about what data are we collecting, but what issues are we trying to solve, right? We want to make sure that this data that we're collecting is about how we're using the spaces, how are we, really taking advantage of that technology to understand what are these spaces doing to make people engage, right? It's not just somebody came into the room, used that, left. Are they happy that the technology work? Was everything easy to interface with? And again, taking these data points and really going the next step. I mean, we want to just not only have the data, but we want to have the support to translate that data into actionable items to make that experience better for everyone.
Absolutely. And the last session that you're going to be a part of, this is also on June 12th. This is Congreso AVIXA. So I'd love for you to talk a little bit about this and then the particular session that you're a part of, which is technology and creativity, that sounds really interesting.
Yes, and that's going to be a fun one because again, I feel that AV is no longer just something separate that we have to think after the fact. For many years, and I've been part of InfoComm, and I've been lucky to be invited to speak about this. This is a great opportunity to make sure we're all coming to the table at the same time, right? Because it's really that creativity that happens when you blend a good space with good technology, and merge those two. As designers, we have really, the responsibility to think about it holistically. But the integrators also have a big role to make sure that they're training us and they're giving us the right tools to really just make this simple and just, work together. So a lot of what we're doing is, these spaces, we want to make sure that people can come in, but they can also listen, they can create experiences. And so we're going to be focused a little bit about what does this mean in terms of creativity and how are we also applying it at HOK, not only within the space, but as tools that we're using to create environments, presentations, designs, and taking that a step further. And what does it mean for AI to come in and play as well?
Oh, yeah,
As we
that's a
work
big
through
one.
it. Yeah, because we're seeing it more and more and more, and it's here and it's part of what we do every day. So how are we really making sure that AI is not disrupting that creative process, but just enhancing and giving us the tools so that we can really amplify what we're giving back to our clients?
I'm interested to know, like, what are the top trends that you're noticing right now in terms of meeting spaces?
So a lot of it, we're trying to understand, and I think we see it, with AI coming, is
Mhm.
really how do we make this an opportunity so that we can have AI give us tools, right? For example, facial recognition. I would love to walk into a meeting room and, the camera already knows who I am. And when not just because it's the name on the screen, but they can recognize my tone of voice, they can understand who I am and what I'm there to do, and really understand also some other features that I think will hopefully come soon about, the environment and what are we making, how are we making the space really be comfortable for us in
Mhm.
terms of occupancy, temperature, air quality. If I like rooms that are not too cold, I mean, AI should understand this. And again, it should set the room already to that if I walk in, I'm in a comfortable environment. Because again, we're going back to how are we creating great experiences. I really would hope that something like that happens sometime soon, where you walk in, it's all set up, and AI already knows who you are, and the cameras are tracking you. But not only that, they're tracking the presenter and the users and creating the hybrid experience fully. So that's one thing that I'm really looking forward to see in this show, and see if we have some developers that started to look into that.
Yeah, and really, really easing the experience for the user as much as possible because at InfoComm, of course, we're talking to people who like eat, sleep, breathe this technology every day, but the average person joining a meeting just is not like that.
Yeah.
They don't, if something goes wrong, they're not going to know the first thing about how to troubleshoot that. So I agree with you that AI, the ease of use that it can make a meeting for that average
Mhm.
person is going to be really, really interesting to see.
And all the tools are there. I mean, I think it's taken some time to catch up with AI and how we really want to integrate it. And I think we're getting to that point where, hybrid is here, it's going to stay. And the more that we see people want to come back to the offices, they want to be in person, but hybrid is still there. So
Yeah,
we cannot forget about that. And we have to continue to evolve, and how that seamless integration is between the in-person and the remote person in a room, so that they feel part of it, they have the same voice, and they can really engage and not feel disconnected to a meeting.
absolutely. Well, one of the last questions I have for you, Adriana, is where can people find more information about you if they'd like to connect with you, or where can they find more information about HOK?
Absolutely. Well, they can go to my LinkedIn, and also HOK.com. We have an amount of resources that we post, and great information there. We're available, just a phone call away, email, anything. And also, if you have time, check out our recent book, which is Designing Your Inclusive Workplaces. There's a lot of information there as well that you can go through and understand how we have to design spaces that are inclusive for all.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time. And I'd like to remind those watching or listening that if they are interested in joining any of your sessions, they can go to infocommshow.org to register for the show and then sign up for any of those. And I can't wait to hear about how fantastic those are. Those sound like they're going to be really, really awesome.
Thank you. We'll promise to make them fun and engaging, so come ready.
Perfect. Well, Adriana, thank you so much. And this has been another episode of Rants and Raves, and we will see you next time. Bye.
rAVe Radio. With rants and raves, you'll be okay. And today is your lucky day. It is rants and raves.